Good evening, Stampers. How are you tonight? It is February the 4th, 2022. Can you believe it? It's already February. That's crazy. Where is this year going? I am Jennifer Kirk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Guelph, Ontario. And I am just calling up my video here so I can follow along if you guys leave comments. So this is not my normal night. I normally go live on Wednesdays, but I had to postpone it because of a personal matter. So I wanted to share this card, so I thought I would come in on Friday night. So hopefully you guys can find me. Leave a comment. If you can see, I'm getting a nice glare off my stamp set here. I'm going to turn it. Oh, my thing's frozen. Hopefully it's working. So thank you for joining me. Leave a comment if you're here so I know you're there. Hey Betty. Hey Laurel. How are you guys? Happy Friday. It's Friday. I'm so excited. All right, so we're going to make this pretty cute card. I think it's cute anyway. We had our team gathering last night and we were demonstrating some watercoloring. So I made this card for both, for the video and for the team meeting. So I thought we would, let's make this card. So this is using their super cute bundle from the mini catalog. It's called Seize the Day. And look at how cute these guys are. Oh, just love them. I love them. And then they have a nice corresponding die, which my dies are a mess because, you know, I've been using them a lot. But you can cut out the octopus and the squid and some fishies and make some scenes. So we're going to play. So I'm going to move all of this stuff out of the way because we are going to get a little messy. We are going to do we are going to start off by watercoloring this background. Okay, so I'm going to move all the stuff that I care about out of the way because it will get a mess. This is our watercolor paper here. And I've just taped it down with some painter's tape. You can paint it, you can tape it down with washi tape or whatever. It's just, you want a low tack. You just want to put it down on something because the paper will curl a little bit depending on how wet you get it. I'm just going to put this underneath so I don't get a mess everywhere. And what we're going to do, we're going to use there's so many different watercoloring techniques that you can use. We're going to use a technique tonight called dry on wet. So I'm not going to wet the paper. I'm just going to use one of our watercolor brushes. So you can see I've filled this up with water. And we're just going to take out color palette. So, hey Sharon, how are you? Christina, Darlene, wow. Friday's a good night to do videos. Okay, so this is our color palette that we're going to use. I'm going to start off with the light and I'm going to go light to dark. Okay, so what I've done before now for those of you that have been around Stampin' Up! For a while, our old pads, you used to be able to squeeze like this and get ink on the lid. You can still do that. It's a lot harder though. So I'm lazy and I just took a drop of reinker and I put the reinker in here. So all I did, I got water on my paper already. So all I did was I took my Balmy blue reinker, gave it a little shake, and just put a drop in the lid. This way I don't waste it. You could do it on a block, but then you have to clean it up and you waste ink. This way it's here for the next time. And I'm just gonna push some water through so that my brush is nice and wet. And then I'm gonna just pick up some ink. And all I'm gonna do, start up here, is I'm just going to watercolor. So I have not wet the paper. If you wanted to have a much more subtle effect, then you could wet the paper and it would dilute quite a bit. If you get streaks on here, like I just did, it either means you had too much on your brush or your brush is getting a little bit dry. So I'm just going to add some more water in there. Doesn't really bother me because I'm making a water scene here. So I'm just going to keep adding until I get the right. You can always add more color. You can't take it away. All right. And all I'm doing is I'm just creating a really simple kind of ombre effect here. Hey, Heather, how are you doing? So now I'm going to take my Pacific Point and I'm going to do the same thing. You can see I've already put the ink in here. I'm going to wet it up. Because I'm going light to dark, I don't need to clean this. I'm not worried about cross-contamination of my colors. I'm just going to keep adding. This is how easy it is. And I'm just making a wash. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just, I'm making a background. See, now I'm getting dry, so I'm going to add some more water to my brush. I'm just going to squeeze. I'm doing it off the camera, but all I'm doing is pushing where it says push. And I'm getting some more water. And this is it. This is all we have to do. Now, see, I'm getting some blotches there. Again, because I'm doing a background in water, I don't really care. If I did care, I could just take my spritzer here and I could add water and dilute it and move it around the paper and it would be fine. But it's not really bothering me. I do want a little bit more of, see, I'm getting dry again, so I'm going to pick up some more water. I do want a little bit more of this Pacific Point as my primary color. Oops, I diluted that too much. So there's really no skill needed with doing a background wash. And there's many different ways of doing watercoloring washes. I could do this, I could put the ink right on here on the plastic and then just lay my paper into it. I can use the brushes. There's so many different ways. So I just thought I would show you one tonight. I had fun playing with it. So again, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more water. And this is Knighted Navy that I'm putting on now. So you can see it's quite a bit darker. So if you don't want distinct lines, you just keep blending them. And then you just keep adding ink until you get the color that you want. And then that's it. And you have to let it dry. This does hold a lot of water. You guys probably can't see that, but there's a lot of water on this page. You can take your heat tool and put it on the low setting and you could dry it. You could wait and do some other stamping. So we're just going to set this aside for now. We're going to let it dry. To clean this, it's really simple. You do want a paper towel, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to push the water out until it runs clear. And then it'll be clean for the next time I want to use it. If you run out of water, you just fill it up. I might run out of water before this is clean. See how it's going clearer? There. So I am good to go for the next one. Just stick my lid on it and we're ready. Easy peasy. All right, so let me grab some paper towel. When you are watercoloring, you do want some paper towel or a rag or something close by so that you have easy cleanup. And that's why I use this. So I have an easy cleanup. That's it. How easy is that? Super easy. All right, so that was on our watercolor paper. We're just gonna let that dry. The other pieces that we need to make this card, we need a piece of, oh, and I didn't do an inside. Oh. Okay, we need a piece of Pacific Point, and this is just a regular piece of cardstock cut in half. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and we are going to score it at 4.25. So there we go, score. I always just use the edge here to line it up before I crease it, and you can use a bone folder or you can use your finger, doesn't matter, both work. So there's our card base. Okay, and then I had a piece of Balmy blue. I have another piece here just in case that other one doesn't dry that I did before. It's the same process, but just in case it doesn't dry, we have that one. So here I have a piece of Balmy blue. I cut it with this big die here. Okay, this is just, oh, so yeah, I need to trim it. I didn't cut it the right size. but that's okay. We'll try it. I just lost my train of thought. It's a Friday. Yeah, it doesn't take skill. You can do it, Heather. You just have to practice. Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I just had a piece of Balmy Blue. I ran it through the die, and then I ran it through our bark embossing powder. Because to me, this could also go for waves. Like, yes, it does look like bark, but it also looks like waves. And all we're going to do is we're going to take our blending brush, and do you see how it's really light? And then if you see on this one, do you see the difference in the color? It's the same color cardstock. I cut this one too short. Same color cardstock. But what I've done was I've taken the Pacific Point and I just sponged over top of it. So we're going to do that. You do have to be careful about these little bits here that you don't break them, but all we do is dab our blending brush in the ink. Okay, and I'm just getting some ink on it. We start off the paper, and I'm just doing it really lightly, and I'm just going to go over top. And it just adds that wee little bit of depth that you don't get if you don't do it. And it makes a huge difference actually on the finished card. I'll do half of it and I'll show you the difference. Very easy to do. And you're just, so I'm just continuing to dab some more ink on it. And you just keep going until you're happy with it. And then you can stop. So do you see the difference with and without? It just adds that little bit more detail. Okay, it makes it look, I don't know what it makes it look textured, I guess, deeper. What's the word I'm looking for? Do the watercolor papers come as 5x7? I believe they do. I'd have to double check the exact size. They're not a large piece, so I think they are 5x7, Laurel. They're called Fluid 100 watercolor papers in the I would show you the pack, except for this is the last piece that I have, so I can't. I threw the pack out. I have to order more. I hope it's in stock. Because, you know what? I've been having so much fun doing this watercoloring that I want to continue to do it. I want to do some Valentine's. All right, so that's all we're going to do. So to wash this, I just will run it underneath the tap after the video. You could always just go like this until the color comes off, but I will wash it. And that's it, my friends. We are getting close. So now what we need is, and I don't know where I put it. My desk is a mess. I actually cleaned my craft room, but I moved stuff. Okay, this is the sparkle paper. So I did have a piece of scrap paper. Can you guys hear my dog? They're running around upstairs, barking at each other. Okay, so I have a piece of scrap paper, and I'm just gonna do a couple of stamping here. So I'm gonna use gray granite, and I'm gonna do the octopus in gray granite. We're gonna cut these out. Okay, so you just want to leave a little bit of a border around each one so that we can get our dies in there. Okay, so there's one. Oh, Tripper, stop barking. I hope you guys can't hear them. They're playing. Okay, and then we're going to do the squid. Actually, I don't want that squid. I want to stamp my sentiment on top of here. So I'm going to actually stamp him off and redo him. Hopefully I have enough scrap paper now. Okay, because I do want it lighter. And then we are going to do a starfish. So I'm using Calypso Coral. I should have got all these dies out beforehand. All right. So I'm going to stick the starfish here. I need more paper. I'm going to do the fish. He's kind of swimming the wrong way, but he'll be okay once we cut him out. He's not floating. He's not belly up. I'm just trying to fit them in here. Okay, I think that's all I need. So let's put that away. And I'm just going to give my stamps a really big clean because knowing me, I will put my fingers in them or I will put my card in them. Which one is worse? I don't know. Okay. We are going to stamp the sentiment on here, but I am going to cut it out first. Just hopefully I'll be able to stamp it with you guys on the camera because I can't get over top of it. All right, so let me get this stuff out of the way. We're going to bring in our mini boss. Isn't this guy go so cute? And we're going to, oh, actually, before we do that, I wanted just to add a little bit of color to the octopus. Okay, so this is one of our new blends. We have a new set of blends that are all skin tone colors. And this is in the medium light and it's the 1000. And I am just going to add a little bit of pink in here. Octopus is octopi, whatever. They are often quite colorful actually. So I didn't want just a brown one. So I'm just adding a little bit of tone to them here. No rhyme or reason. I just thought it looked kind of cool. Maybe I'll go in here. There. You do want to let your ink dry a little bit before you color. All right, let's see what else I'm going to forget to do tonight. Probably a lot because it's Friday. I'm so excited it's Friday, although I do have to work this weekend, which kind of I'm not too happy about. All right, I'm not going to be able to cut them all at once. I thought I was going to be smart, cut them all at once, but that's not going to happen. All right, so we're going to do him first. So I'm just lining it up. I don't know, am I on? I'm kind of a little bit off here. Let's see if I can move this over. All right, line it up, find my plate. Make sure he's still lined up. And then he's going to slide everywhere because my paper is loose. I'm just going to give that a cut. I'm going to go backwards. Okay. I should do it on my desktop and not on the paper because the paper keeps sliding, but you know. Then I'll forget to put the paper out. Look at, isn't it cute? Ah. Okay, I'm just going to rip this so it's not as big. And then we're going to cut these guys out. There's one. A fishy. I'm probably not going to be able to do all of these guys at the same time. They're going to be too close. Maybe it'll work. So to line this guy up, you can see that there's two, what are these things called on a starfish? Feet? I don't know. Two that are fairly close together, and there's two on the die that are fairly close together. So you just stick it on that way, and then it'll line up. And then we need one more fishy. Is it going to work, or am I going to have to do it again? We might get there. So if you, yeah, see, I'm not going to be able to do both of them at the same time. So let's do this one. If you are really picky, you could, well, not picky, but if you want things to be perfect, you can use some little washi tape to hold these down, these dies. I just kind of try and get it in. Oh, my fish moved. Oh well, I have a little bit of white on the fish. That's okay. Aren't these guys so cute? Oh, I love the little, the baby boss. The big one is the mama boss. All right, we're gonna move these over to the side. And then we're gonna cut these. If you don't have the dies, you can always just cut these out with scissors. They're not hard to do. The dies just obviously make it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. All right. Yay. Let's put the dies here. Get rid of our garbage. Move my baby. You'd love to try some watercolor. Well, try it, Laurel. You can make beautiful, beautiful backgrounds. I'll show you a couple more cards if you guys stick with me, where I've done other backgrounds on the cards. Okay, let's get this stuff out of the way before I lose it all. So the only thing we have left to do is, and hopefully I can do it because I didn't do an extra one, is to stamp this right on top of here. Okay, so that's why I stamped off, because I wanted to put the sentiment actually on the squid. But I can't get my head right over it. I might go off. I might go off a little bit just so I can. Can you guys still see that? Yes, you can. Okay, then I can get my head a little bit more over top because it just fits. Okay, we put it down and now we pray that it fits. Yay, I went off a little, but that's okay. No one will notice but us. You could stamp it before you cut it out, but I did think it would be a little bit easier to do it this way. And now we are ready to assemble. I did forget to cut. Let me just see, is that dry? No, my paper is still wet, so we will use the one that I did beforehand, and we're gonna have to trim to fit because this isn't even the right size. All right, so let me bring in my trimmer. So I have a little bit more on this side, so I am going to make it just 4. We're gonna do a 4 card. We're gonna have a border. Okay, so 4. And this is 5 1/4, so that's good. Okay, and then this one we're gonna trim as well. So do I want light or dark? I think I like it dark. Light, dark, light, dark. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so this is 5 1/4, and we're just gonna take off the bottom end here. And then it all fits together. I'm a little bit giddy tonight. It's been a very, very long week. I'm so excited that it is Friday. Okay, so before we get going, I'm gonna just take my Wink Estella, and I'm just gonna add some sparkle. You can do it everywhere if you want. I'm just gonna kind of just randomly add some glitter because, you know, every card needs some glitter, doesn't it? I think I'm getting low. Oh, there it comes. Now it's too fast. Now it's gonna be really bright. That's okay. Okay, so we're just winking it. Just adding a little glimmer, because every card needs a little glimmer. And then we're just going to pop it up with some dimensionals. So let me grab my dimensionals. I'm not even watching comments. Hopefully you guys aren't talking to me. I'm sorry if I'm ignoring you. I can't multitask tonight. It's Friday. I always wondered why I didn't do videos on Friday. Now I know. Because, you know, my brain doesn't function anymore. It needs a break. All right, so we're just going to stick these guys on. And this one is still here. I should have had my take a pic tool. It's much easier than my yucky fingernails. And we're just gonna line this right up on there. So I did want to use the dimensionals just so that I can tuck some of the little critters underneath. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of look at where we want them. So I do like the sentiment down in the bottom. Uh-oh, I lost a fishy. Where did my fish go? Starfish in and among the coral, or do we want him out this way? Uh-oh, fish. Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, Trip, he's going crazy. That's my elderly dog, Trip. So I think that looks kind of cool, just like that. What do you guys think? It's almost exactly the same as what I did the last time. So we're just going to attach them. So I'm going to glue him down flat, or her, I don't know what gender it is. Not that it matters. And put them in there. They look creepy, eh? You could pop these up if you wanted to. Where do I want him? Maybe right here. I'm putting them flat just because I'm likely mailing this as a thank you card. I go through so many thank you cards. So I'm starting to make them for my videos so that I'm not duplicating. There we go. What do you guys think? Isn't that cute? So one last thing, I'm gonna take my Wink again, and I have a lot of ink on here, and I'm just gonna use my lid, and I'm just gonna splatter. So I'm just adding some splatter. You can do as much or as little as you want. See it? Isn't that cute? I love it. All right, and then we just attach it to the front. Now, because it is, you'll find with the watercolor paper that it's a lot thicker than our normal paper. So you do want to use a decent adhesive on the back. You don't have to use Seal Plus. I am, just because it was the first one I grabbed. You could use Seal as well. You could use the glue too, but you'd have, oh, don't do that. I wasn't pressing hard enough on my paper, and I ripped the paper. Whenever it does that, that's all it is. It's just put a little bit more pressure on, and you'll be good to go. And we're just going to, now I need to line this up, and I'm not going to line it up straight because I can't get over the card because the camera's in the way. Okay, there we go. Cute, eh? Now, of course, I didn't do an inside, so we're going to use some shimmer paper for the inside because I forgot to cut it and I got goopies all over it. Give me one moment. I've got glue. You know me and glue? I have glue on it, and now I can't find my adhesive. Okay, so I'm just going to remove my glue so we can stamp on this. All right, good to go. I'm gonna keep the inside really simple. So I'm just gonna, you're every bit of wonderful. Isn't that cute? This is from the Love and Happiness. No, it's not from the Love and Happiness. I lied. Wrong pile. That's for my next one. This is from the Celebrating You stamp set. So there's lots of really good sayings in here. Mother's Day, birthday, Father's Day, anniversary, Easter, just a congrats, right? So really good sentiment stamp set if you're looking for one. It is awesome. All right, so I'm gonna line this up, get it straight, because it's not straight. And bring back my Calypso coral. Are you guys still with me? You are. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it, Laura. You know what? I felt like being at a beach, so I wanted to use this Seize the Day. I don't know about you guys, but it's the first winter that we've had in a long time. I need to rank my stamp pad. It's the first winter that we've had in a long time, and I'm done. I am done with winter. It can go away now. I want sunshine and beach and water. All right, I'm gonna put a little crabby down here. Isn't he cute? Oh. Reminds me when I was young, we used to go to Virginia Beach And the crabs used to bite my toes. All right, and then I'm just gonna put a couple little bubbles on the inside, and then we're done. Oops, if I can actually open my stamp set. Are you gonna try it, Heather? Are you gonna try the watercoloring? Let's see, do I want it full strength? I do. Give it a go. It's fun. All right, and then all we need to do is to attach that on the inside, and then we are done. Awesome, eh? Really easy, super great way to make your own backgrounds. Here's another background that I did. Exact same method. So I used cherry cobbler, pumpkin pie, and mango melody, and just made a little sunset in the back with the grassy grove set. And then here's ones that I did a little bit of a different technique, but still all on watercolor and watercoloring paper. And then this is the colors that I demonstrated last night. So remember when I was saying that you could add water and it'll make it a lot lighter? So this is actually with water added. So this is Gorgeous Grape, and this is just with the paintbrushes. So you can see the difference in the vibrance. So if you really want a more subtle background, then you would water the paper first, and then put your background in color on top of the water with a wet brush. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm glad that I was able to come on and make up my Wednesday. So I'm sorry that I missed Wednesday, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, awesome weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye for now.